Have you ever walked into a store for just one thing like milk, only to leave with a full cart and an empty wallet? It's not a self-control issue. Retail stores are psychological playgrounds where every detail from the store's layout to the price tags are strategically placed to get you to spend more money. And today we're pulling back the curtain on 6 strategies that retail stores use to get you to spend money so that way you can beat them at their own game. So this entire game that retailers use start with a chemical in our brains called dopamine. Some of us refer to it as the happy chemical, but in reality, it's more of like a I want it now chemical. And you might think the best part of shopping is when you finally get that item in your hand, but science shows that it's actually the moments before buying a product where the real thrill comes in. It's the thrill of browsing online, adding stuff to your cart, envisioning how good you're gonna look and how great your life is gonna be once you have these items in your hand. That's dopamine giving you the rush that you're looking for. In fact, actually buying the item is the end of the journey. That's why so many of us look for the next thing to buy even as soon as we're done purchasing an item. And retailers design their stores and websites to keep us in the state of anticipation for as long as possible. So next time you're in this I gotta have it feeling, just recognize that it's a chemical reaction going on in your brain. And give yourself a 24-hour rule. You can add it to your cart, but give yourself a full day before buying it to give that dopamine rush a chance to fade. That's when you're going to be able to think critically again and see if this is actually a need or was it just a state of the moment. Okay, have you ever seen messages like only 3 items left or a countdown timer till a sale ends? This is called the Scarcity Trap, and this is one of the most effective ploys that retailers have because it feeds directly into your fear of missing out, aka FOMO. When you think of something as rare or it's about to run out, all of a sudden our brains perceive it as more valuable. It's a deep-seated survival instinct that we all have as humans, and retail stores use this to create a false sense of urgency. This is why in recent years we have so many limited edition drops, whether it's celebrity collabs or a collab between 2 competing brands, just to create something where a lot of people think, well, if I don't get this now, I will never get the chance to buy it again. Don't fall for this. Most of the time, this is just a ploy, and those limited edition things that you think you'll never find are just gonna go back in sale at some point. So call them out on their bluff and ask yourself this: if there were 1 million of these right now, would I still want it this badly? Okay, this next strategy is about creating a bunch of illusions when it comes to pricing. Imagine you see a shirt for sale for $100. Sounds expensive, right? But what if the tag said that it was $250 and now it's priced at $100? All of a sudden, we place a little bit more value on it and think that it's a bargain. That $250 is known as a price anchor, and its sole job is to be the first number you see and influence your perception of value even if that shirt was never truly sold at that higher price. Retailers also use what they call decoy pricings. Think about the price of popcorn when you go to a movies. A small one is $6, a medium is $8, and a large is $8.50. The medium popcorn's job is to be the decoy. Nobody really buys it, but they look at the large popcorn as more of a better deal, so they pay the extra 50 cents. Now, an extra 50 cents doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have hundreds of people going into the movies on a weekly basis, that money adds up pretty quickly. So the best tip I can give you on this is to simply ignore the anchor price or the decoy pricing. Oftentimes, these numbers are just greatly inflated, and at the end of the day, what matters is how much the item is of value to you personally. And also, when you're shopping anywhere and you see 3 different price options on an item, remember that the middle one is likely a decoy that's meant to trick you to get the more expensive option. So you had a bad day, you're feeling bored or stressed out. Well, many people turn to shopping for an emotional lift on these feelings. This is called emotional spending. Far too many people buy things based off of how they're feeling rather than what you actually need. And apparently a lot of people go through this, with LendingTree finding out that 69% of Americans actually admit to being emotional shoppers. But it also leads people to financial trouble, with 39% of people admitting that emotional shopping has put them into debt. When you feel down or stressed out, your brain craves a quick fix to this problem. And a new purchase can provide a temporary high away from this. However, it does easily get replaced with a feeling of guilt for the purchasing. But marketers know this. They aren't just selling you a product, they're selling you a solution to your feelings. So before making any kind of unplanned purchases, take a quick checkup of how you're feeling right now at that moment. Ask yourself if you're buying an item because you actually need it or because you're trying to fill in some kind of void and make yourself happier. But on top of this, try to find other ways of making yourself happy that are actually free. Things like taking a walk, going to the gym, talking with a friend. Activities like these are not just free, but also keep you away from the stores, meaning that you spend less money overall. Okay, we're halfway through this list, but if you're finding value in this video and want to become a master of your own wallet, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button here so you don't miss any videos that are coming up next. And also let me know in the comments if any of these strategies that retailers use actually trick you into buying something you didn't expect. Humans have a natural desire to fit in. When we see other people do something, we figure it's the right thing to do and we want to join in. Marketers know this as having social proof, and some of the biggest companies in the world use this everywhere. Think about Apple with its AirPods and its iPhones. Seeing them everywhere makes you think that if you buy Apple, you're part of a desirable group, and we're wired to trust things more when we see other people using and approving of them. This is also why we obsessively read over reviews whenever we're looking at products on Amazon. A product with thousands of positive views often feels like the safe, trustworthy choice. To beat this, you want to be a critical thinker. Remember, things like online reviews can easily be faked, so the next time you're buying something, ask yourself, do I genuinely want this for me, or do I want it because it's popular? Also, consider unfollowing social media influencers who constantly sell you items just to feel like you belong somewhere. Speaking of Amazon, think about how easy they make it for us to actually buy something. Our address is saved on their website, so is our credit cards, and they even have a button for us to buy something now with just one click. Now, think about that compared to doing something like taking out money from a savings account. One is designed to be completely frictionless and have it as easy as possible, while the other one forces us to think about whether we really need to do it. Companies over the years have worked extremely hard to remove any kind of friction by removing any obstacles that might give us a chance to think for a second on whether or not we need to buy. Things like saved credit cards, buy now buttons, and services like Afterpay and Klarna make spending feel abstract, almost like we're not actually using real money. And these buy now pay later services are proven to make people purchase more than what they intended to do, which I talk about in my previous video that you can see here. Even things like free shipping tend to be a trap for us to buy more. Seriously, have you ever added an item just to avoid a $5 shipping fee? You might think you're saving money, but in reality, you just bought something else that was $20 to save $5. So, pro tip, intentionally add friction back into your buying process. Go into your Amazon account and simply delete every saved credit card that you have on your account and maybe even your addresses. The simple act of just having to re-enter all of those details give you a moment to reconsider, and always do the math on the whole free shipping and figure out if you're actually paying more just to save a couple of bucks. Remember, struggling with overspending doesn't make you a bad person per se. It just means that you've been playing a game that you didn't know the rules to until you watched this video. And if you want to dive deeper into the trap of buy now, pay later, check out this video next.